Okay, where to begin?
Let's get to it.
Finding your own personality when you look up to your sister or someone close.
It kind of comes with time a little bit. When we're younger, we're probably more insecure and trying to adapt and change ourselves to be more like someone else that we look up to. My answer is a bit twofold here, because part of it is really cool, because if you see someone that you look up to, you can actually take action and manifest something that they have. But also it's very important to stay true to yourself, to be authentic and to really listen to that inner voice that only you have. Just have a little bit of alone time every now and then to kind of like filter out other people's opinions, and it will come naturally.
I think I would only say, like, just try things that you think are gonna be fun. Sports, activities, anything, boat rides, hanging out with certain type of people. Then you will know more and more what you like and what you don't like and what's for you. Like, even though we are sisters, we have so many different preferences. And don't try to force yourself to like something just because someone else does.
And speak up when you have an opinion that differs from other people. Stay true to yourself.
Is it possible to feed your dog a vegan diet, and if so, how?
It's possible.
I would say, from what I read, they recommend it after they have become at least a year old. And there are lots of good brands. We use Yara for these ones.
They eat organic and vegan food as their like main food. He gets like treats, snacks of animal products, especially for training them, because then they get like super excited.
Peanut butter, but that's vegan.
There are lots of articles on it, lots of research. It's fully possible to have a dog on a vegan diet and just see how your dog likes it and how they function, and ours seem to be really happy with it.
Yeah, they have, knock on wood, never been sick. Their fur and everything is really healthy, grows super fast, they have lots of energy.
Yeah, lots of energy.
Lots of energy.
And really good digestion.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think are each other's greatest strengths? Mine is
pronunciation. One of your greatest strengths that I think of immediately is your intuition and how you just know, combined with that you're not afraid of expressing it. You never like push down your feelings, no matter which direction they are in. If you like think, let's say a family member is doing something that's not them or that's not good for them, you will never hesitate to tell them. And that's something that we all really value in you, and that's why the whole family comes to Annette for advice. We like brace ourselves because we know it's going to be really honest, but very loving.
I feel like I'm in school and getting like my diploma.
Yeah.
You have excellent handwriting.
You have really good handwriting. You really go for what you want, and you're very brave, very courageous, and you never give up before you make the change, or I don't know, you like make the shifts inside of you that are necessary to get you to where you want to be and the person that you want to be. And another strength is that you always strive to be the best version of yourself, which is very inspiring to everyone around you.
Oh,
is that enough?
Yeah.
You're a very good leader. Even though I'm your boss, but kind of like sometimes you lead us with the ideas and the visions for what we do.
You're definitely more of a empath, is that the word? More considerate than me. And that is a good and a bad thing. Because sometimes you cater other people instead of yourself, but at the end of the day it's like you're very, very kind, very empathetic. I think everybody who has you as a friend or a person in your life are really happy about it, because you're very kind. The last couple of years you've become really self-confident.
Yeah.
And very sure of who you are and what you want to do in the world, which is very inspiring. One of your strengths is to be very positive, especially when there's challenging times, like when we've run out of money, like when our business has gone like bad. It doesn't never feel like a catastrophe, because we're always like snapping out of it, finding a different way, and I think that's a really, really good quality to have in a sister, but also like with someone you work with.
It sounds like we're a good team.
It does.
Thank you, that was really nice.
What are you most inspired by these days?
I'm very inspired by people who do Of course, big, great things with their lives. Isn't that what everyone's inspired by? People who manage to like live out their dreams. Whether that is having a family, whether that is having a company that's really thriving. And I love following people on social media, on YouTube especially, that you can follow their journey. And of course, I'm inspired by people who keep it real, are honest about how they feel, are authentic.
I'm very inspired by people who just have fun and seem careless. Like they have so much fun, they are positive, I also really love how some people are just so focused on what they want to do, and then they just think big. They don't have any limits on how their life is gonna look like, but they always exceed another expectation. And I think for myself, I can be quite serious, or at least I have been. And now I'm just like, okay, actually what I really want to do is be more fun and and do those things that I've always been dreaming about. I think just last year with COVID and everything became very like soul searching for me, and very indoors, like trying to figure it all out.
Sometimes the more you look, the more you find.
Yeah, exactly. And now I just want to surf and dance and be around people that are light and nice and kind and inspiring. Woo! Are you considering yourself as minimalists? And tips.
I cannot consider myself a minimalist, I think. What I do love is only having things that I love. They spark joy. So I am very, very good at donating clothes, selling clothes, giving them away when they no longer do anything for me. It's not like minimalist where you have like one pair of pants, one t-shirt. I have few things that I love, but I also love to buy new clothes. That's no secret. Especially eco-friendly, vintage. If you followed us for years, you know that that's a big passion for the both of us. Are you a minimalist?
I'm not. But what really changed my life actually was last year. We did in each our house Marie Kondo clean out of every single thing we own.
Oh my god.
It took months and it was so intense and hard. And after that, it's like you don't want to go and clutter up. I'm super organized. I know exactly what I have in my closet.
No, but I would say it's a very abundant way of thinking. We don't limit ourselves if we see something that we find beautiful that would fit in like our home or our future home. But we don't have a lot of stuff that we never use. Partly due to the cleanup that we did last year, partly due to that we moved to another country, which made us have to...
Homeless! We're not homeless, apparently. We have a house to stay in, but we don't have our own homes yet. Actually, we don't own that many things because last year we sold absolutely almost everything.
Yeah, I have a few things stored at my family in Norway. I will clean them out, I promise.
They're watching this like, yeah, you're not a minimalist.
Yeah.
Okay, how to be vegan in social setting. Love you guys.
Love you.
Oh, I think it's actually a really good question. I know that a lot of people find it super uncomfortable to tell other people, especially when you're invited for dinner, oh, by the way, I'm vegan. And in my case, oh, by the way, I'm gluten-free. In the beginning, I almost avoided all social things for a while because it was too much for me to take it out. But then the more confident and secure I became, and even just like knowing how amazing it is to eat in a way because you love animals so much, it's inspiring to other people. And that's when it kind of switched. I invited people over for dinners, made lots of food for my friends, and you know, have started a whole Instagram account showing people how to eat more plant-based. So it's not exactly something I'm ashamed of. I'm really proud of it, but still, the one thing that sometimes can bug me is like feeling like you're too much. And that's not really about the food. It's like you almost want to make someone else comfortable instead of yourself.
Yeah.
And I've been at dinners where I have eaten gluten, never meat, But you know, instead of just saying it as it is. So I know it's all the time just being really kind with yourself, and of course the people who invite you to dinner or social settings also want you to be comfortable, and you just have to be generous, bring food, always ask to if there's anything you can do, and always let them know before you come, because if not, it's of course super uncomfortable for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about the way we are. If we're like super afraid that anybody will stare at our food, I feel like almost people will be attracted to it.
Yeah.
But if you're super comfortable with it, and I think that in 2021 it's so normal.
Yeah.
At least maybe in my friend circles, but I know that of course we're all so different.
And people are just really curious.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think people judge us when they're just wanting information. They want to know what you're thinking. How do you become vegan? And we're like, they're asking me everything about veganism. And then we feel uncomfortable. But remember, most often people have good intentions with their questions, and just laugh about it if possible. It's a really, really cool, brave choice that's amazing for you, for the planet, for the animals. And if you can get other people also to have one vegan meal, it's amazing. And of course it's so important how you feel after a meal. I know those times when I've come home, I've eaten gluten, and I know that for me it's no bueno. So I will be like out for a couple of days, then it's not worth it at all. And I don't understand why I would treat myself that way. So I definitely stopped. In what way do you support your sister the best?
I think if anything happened, you would be the first one I call. I guess we are like the closest to each other. Naturally, or not naturally, but like we really want the other one to have a really amazing life.
Yeah.
And have the absolute best. You were having some difficulties in your relationship.
Yeah.
And you went through a breakthrough. But it's like...
Break up or breakthrough? Both? Kind of combined?
Both. And even though I'm very bad at showing how I feel about things, I never tried to tell you what to do in a relationship or what I think about the situation.
But I know what you think, always.
No, but I don't tell you. I'm just there.
Yeah.
But when you're going through a breakup or whatever, I'm also there, trying to make sure that you are the best for you, in a way.
Yeah.
Not for me. I think that you really have supported me when I've been feeling really low, really down. You have been like, come on, just, you know, you want to do that, you know, we want to do that. And you really never have given up on me.
No.
Almost to the point where it's like, okay, like, she will knock down my door until I come out of my shell.
Yeah.
When I would say I'm a bit more mature now, but before, if I had a bad time, I didn't want to see a person.
And you do the same to me now when I get frustrated, irritated, or anything, and I really just close off and I don't want to say anything, then you're like, now you're in your shell, come out, let's hear what's wrong.
Yeah.
So we kind of force the other person to be honest, and we're there when, especially if times get tough, as they did. Because life happens. We are trying to be as supportive of each other as we can, obviously, because we're family, we love each other. Also because we always need to have a good flow and a good communication. We work together, but how we do it, we talk a lot. We communicate, and with age, with time, we have learned a lot about how to communicate the best, how the other one receives feedback, what they need to hear, what kind of encouragement they need. Because sometimes we forget that we need positive encouragement.
Yeah.
And we need to
We can be like, why didn't you do that? No. Instead of saying one nice thing.
Yeah, and we both have learned that we really need to just tell each other that, oh, that was such a good story that you posted, or such a great podcast, anything, because the things that we create are very vulnerable. So that's definitely one way we support each other. We also support each other doing individual things. Let's take the horseback riding example. I'm like, yes, why aren't you there already? Getting your... I was going to say getting your monthly subscription. How do you support me?
How do I support you? I think communication. It's the answer. It's like, I don't understand sometimes how we have so much to say to each other. One time we had been apart for like 3 months and we drove to the cabin that takes normally 2.5 hours. And we drove for 9 hours because we were talking so much, so we took a wrong turn, took another wrong turn, and we didn't even feel like time had passed. We fight. We still do. Yeah. Because we know each other so well, so we know exactly what button to push. And sometimes we just crash.
Or we trigger each other.
But we can be friends again within an hour. But the thing is that we really have to be mature and sit down and talk about things. Hopefully before we have a fight. We know that when we are fighting, it's not good for our business at all. And I think also just encouraging each other to do things separately.
Most notable differences between your country and Portugal.
Our country is Norway.
Yeah.
And we now live in Portugal, both of us.
Yeah.
And our grandmother is also Portuguese, so we know in Portugal. Our dad is Portuguese.
He's half Portuguese.
Yeah, and we've been here every summer since we were born. It's a huge difference. It's different cultures, different everything. I don't even know, like...
Let's take the obvious. The climate is completely different.
Yeah.
In Norway we have 4 very distinct seasons. The winter is the longest. It gets incredibly dark. It gets really cold in the winter. We have lots of snow. We can go skiing. We can have lots of winter activities. In Portugal the winter isn't that cold, but it gets dark also since we're both in Europe. But the summers here in Portugal are much warmer and the summer lasts. I feel like it can be summer from March to November if you consider summer being sunny and quite warm temperatures.
If you consider summer being...
No, but I mean like Portuguese people will never call...
Oh, that's true.
15 degrees and sunshine for summer.
Or 20.
That's cold for Portuguese people. That's another difference.
Yeah.
In Norway, if it's 20 degrees and sunny, it's summer. We're in a bikini, we're sunbathing, we're swimming in the ocean. In Portugal, if it's 20 and sunny, it's... You can wear like a
jeans, winter jacket,
maybe like a scarf. That's a very big difference.
And I think it's so funny because I go around in shorts, at least when it's like 25, and I feel like I get looks, they're like, it's freezing.
Yeah. Another big difference is
food. I would say for me it's much more exotic here because there's so much fruits. And maybe you've seen our local foods in Portugal video. I was very excited.
If you haven't, go watch it.
In Norway there's a lot of amazing food too, but most of, like if you want to eat local there, it's a lot of potatoes and root veggies.
I love
blueberries.
Potatoes.
Yeah, me too. Oh. But I would say like in Norway is so, like the water from the sink, it's the best. And even when you wash your hair, I feel like my hair is so different here because there's so much calcium in the water. The culture is very different. Here, for example, you have hora de almoço, which is like lunch hour where some shops close. And
in Norway, your lunch break is 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you here in Norway, you would eat like a matpakke.
You would bring home food from home, preferably bread with maybe like cheese and salami. In Portugal, you wouldn't do that. I mean, we're not into the working culture here, but I can never see a Portuguese person bringing brødskiver to work.
No, here it's like rice, maybe vegetables, soup, maybe a glass of wine, a lot of meat.
I think this is a more meat-based culture, even though there's a lot of fish here.
Yeah, maybe.
We eat a lot of meat and fish in Norway as well.
We.
Not we.
Surprise! I would say also like I'm so much more relaxed here in Portugal, and that I don't know if it has to do with the country, but I feel like people are so good at enjoying life here.
Yeah.
All the time there's people at the beach, and I know a lot of people like work
really hard.
And it's not that, but it's like what you do with your free time. And maybe it's because of the weather you see it more, but just people enjoying life, sitting out at cafes, eating with family. And I really love that, because I have been so like hardworking, hard focused, for so many years. So I needed it to come here to relax and let go of my stress and my like high expectations in a way.
And have breakfast at a cafe in Lisbon and just be like, take it a bit slower.
Yeah.
I love, especially like today when I went for a morning walk, the cafes are already full. People are having their little cake, like the pastel de nata, and their little coffee.
Yeah.
And I think some people do that every morning, and it's just, they look really content.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
Another thing that's huge here is of course surfing.
Yes.
And you can surf in Norway also, but it's not that many spots to go, so I think...
Well, there is, but not near Oslo.
No, so I would say surfing is comparable to skiing for Norway. So Norwegian people learn how to ski when they're kids, and it's like
everybody knows how to ski almost.
And that feels like the same here with surfing.
But both countries are absolutely amazing, and it's so fun because I met so many people here wanting to move to Norway.
When does your book come in English?
We wrote a book called Jordnært, which most of our Norwegian followers probably know. And it's a book on easy tips to live more eco-friendly. Now we have translated it. A professional, like really good translator has worked on it for us.
So she has translated the general parts, which also apply to any country, because we have some parts that are really specific for Norway. So those are the parts that we need to work on now.
Yeah.
And when they are done, publish.
So we are hoping like within the next 6 months.
And another book question is, how was the process of writing 2 books?
Oh, very different. Jordnært was more of a team thing, because we had an editor who
kicked our ass.
Had deadlines for us, and then we had the publishing house who also read through the book, gave us feedback. And we had an amazing designer and
a photographer.
The process was a bit hard because sometimes we didn't really feel like we were really in charge of the book anymore. And so we really had to like step into our power again.
But it was challenging on the part where we needed to finish things within a certain time. And it was so much research. If you are into like sustainability, you know how much facts there are, and we were reading through these UN reports. I mean, we've both studied for 5 years, so we know how to get through insane amounts of literature and to like pick out and make it easy to understand. So that was basically the whole process with Down to Earth Jordnært, to make really complicated stuff easy. I remember at some point we were like crying, being frustrated, not knowing if we could finish it. But also like happy flowing times when you get these ideas and then you can just write and write and write.
Yeah, and the shooting and the design process was so much fun.
Yeah.
And also just waking up on the 17th of May after we had just given it out, getting a message that we were on the bestseller list in Norway. It was just wild, because I feel like...
That's wild. I never expected that.
I did. I really manifested. I went into the book stands and I always pictured our book being on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It was really, really fun. Whole process, even the ups, the downs.
Even though it was hard, I'm gonna remember it as one of the best times.
Yeah. And then our second book is called Radical Courage. It's an ebook that we published in April. This book is quite different. It's more about, I would say, like self-development, finding your inner voice, having the courage to do what you dream of, which is like the subtitle. And it's been so fun because we've used all of our personal experiences, starting a company, working together as sisters, figuring out how to work with family, how to earn money, set boundaries, have partners. I mean, it wasn't any knowledge that we needed to get externally. We had everything within, so we could just pour out our experiences. But of course, it's also a process of like sifting, sorting, what can you say, what can you not say, how to formulate things in an understandable way. It's starting to write a book is very easy. All the ideas, flow them out, put them down, and then you start editing. And then when you're reading the book for 157th time, you get kind of tired.
Which you have to.
Of your own stuff. So at one point we took a little break, then we could read it again with a little bit more neutral focus.
Yeah. For me, it's such a valuable book. I really think that it's the best things that I have learned and put on paper. I think the hardest thing for me was leveling up and knowing that I'm good enough to give you these advice. That was really like, I had to grow a lot from the idea.
Yeah, and if you want to read both of our books, they're available in our web shop called the Radical Broccoli Shop. Go check them out. Do you compare each other with each other? What has helped to not be jealous?
I think we definitely do. Also because we're so close in age, and we share an Instagram account, so it's very easy to really be measured. If I ever find myself comparing myself, it's like I can always trace it back to how I felt when I was a kid. And for example, our dad would be more there for Suzanne because you had more things in common, and me and my dad had like a little harder time communicating, but he loved us just as much. And sometimes we can pick up these patterns and they will show up in our adult life. And I think for you, it's been other things, for example, when maybe you feel like you haven't been able to like speak out or something like that.
Because I was thinking like, I never get jealous of you, but then again, I can be hard on myself if I feel like, oh, I'm not being authentic right now, I'm not being honest, I'm not saying what I really mean. And then I see you do that with such ease, as I talked about with your greatest strengths. So it's not jealousy, but it's like
it's easy to mirror yourself all the time.
Yeah. So I would say it can be quite helpful also, because it can push me to really do things.
The best antidote to comparing yourself is focusing on what's good with you.
Yeah, and also maybe like to get out of your navel gazing, kind of, because sometimes we focus so much on ourselves, and like, especially in this world with social media and stuff, and especially in the job that we have, because we're in our face, we're hearing our own podcast, we're writing what we wrote, and sometimes we just like have to focus on what we're giving, serving other people, helping someone, and that shifts the whole focus.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think we're both very comfortable and secure in who we are and who we are to each other, and it's not like I want to be her or she wants to be me.
No.
We both really like being ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's a very comfortable, happy place to be in.
And I think that comes from doing self-development work.
Yeah.
How do you find boys to date that understand any of the spiritual and mental stuff?
So if anybody has an answer to this question, please contact me.
I would say for my past relationships and for what I'm kind of open for now, it's not someone who is interested in the exact same things as me. The contrast can be really good, but I'm looking for, or like, I'm open for a person who is open to other people being interested in, for example, spirituality. Not meaning that the person needs to be really spiritual or to do meditation or to be vegan or to... Because I don't want to date myself in a guy version.
I would.
I don't know, it's kind of maybe taking a check-in with what you expect and what you want from a relationship. For me, there are other qualities that are more important, like loyalty, having fun together, the person having its own ambitions, its own life. But in the end of the day, it comes down to respecting another person's view of the world.
And then you also have to be open.
Yeah.
For another person having a different view.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely people I've been together with before have not had the same view on the world as me, have not been into meditation, spirituality, any of those things. Sometimes it was really hard, sometimes it was like complete acceptance with the other person.
Yeah, I think for me, like the most important thing is someone who has open mind and like is kind.
Yeah.
Kind of good intentions. And like what I find really attractive in people is when they also have these visions and really have this drive and go after what they want. I would not be attracted to someone who sits down and complains about their life and does nothing about it. I don't think that would be a match to me at all.
You would not meet a person like that.
No. But these are the qualities that are important, not necessarily that, yeah, as you said, like that they don't have to be the exact same as me.